What's up, guys? Cascade here. We're on Universalis 3, and we're reading back to tutorials, to the tutorial series that I'm making. So I had like exam stuff to do, so it took me a while to get back to this. So let's get back to it. So in this episode, we're talking about modern era situation, what goes on modern era, what you're going to be doing, things like that. So let's get right to it. So the first thing I'm going to go with is I'm going to talk about how you form your nation in the modern era. So looking at this now, this is my population and the nation name. So I'm Indonesian, right? I like Indonesia probably most in modern era because it just has a massive expanding population. It has all these islands to take care of. You know, it's hard to invade because of all the islands. It has a rapidly expanding GDP, and it's just overall an interesting area to go to. I need to play as this. I mean, actually, no, I don't play India more than this because I feel like India has kind of tougher borders, and Indonesia is just so easy to set up because of all the islands. The only border you have to worry about is probably the only real land border you have is New Guinea and Borneo. Borneo is probably the hardest border, but it's very easy to do. So, I mean, the New Guinea border is just a straight line. It's just so easy to do. So yeah, if you're a beginner, I definitely suggest being probably Australia or Indonesia. Simply because of how easy their borders are, and because of how easy their cities are as well. Cities are very easy to memorize, so I just like that as well. Cities have very obvious places because they're all along the coast. And because of there's a recent map update, so because of that, it makes everything very easy to see exactly where the cities go. You'll be able to get close enough. Indonesia also has a ton of resources. It has some oil up here in the South China Sea. Has some on Sumatra and Borneo as well. And it's just a really easy nation to be. So if you're ever in a future era, this is the website I like to use. It tells you a population projections for past 2016, basically. So just put in your nation. Let's say Belarus, because why not? Tells you birth rates, births today, deaths today. So this looks like it's going to be a declining population. Also tells you religion, which is interesting. So it tells you demographics, tells you your ethnic groups, your population, age of each area. It's a very nice website. As you can see, nice working age chart down there as well. But here is your population projection. So by 2045, population of Belarus is going to be 8,800,000. That's generally that's a pretty general thing you're going to see over Europe. Europe has a declining population at the moment, but that's where you're going to see it. And I'll put the website in the link so that you can come look at it as well if you're ever in an era past 2016. And now we're going to calculate manpower. So how you do manpower, you take your population and you times it by 0.05. That's generally how I do it. You can do it probably a bit lower than that, but 0.05 is probably the best area. If you're in a national crisis, like a major war or something like that, you can probably increase it by like 10%, which would just be times 0.1. It's very easy to do. Just type it into the search bar and it'll show it on the Google calculator. So let's talk about diplomacy. Diplomacy in the modern era is very complicated. It's probably the best way to say it. You basically really can't invade anyone, or you're gonna have issues with the international world. Or it should be realistically. Doesn't always happen, as you can see around me. This is more of a custom modern, so there's an excuse here, but still. There's also, sometimes people will have a UN building, which is a place you go and talk about international issues and make laws about the server that impacts everyone in the server. It can be boring and interesting depending on how good the host is. So the first thing we're talking about is Air Forces. So for Air Forces are pretty interesting, if I can find mine. So I could not, but let's just go through, so just take your Army brick and just say Air Force on it, or do whatever you want, AF, whatever. Doesn't really matter. Just say like 300 planes, or jet planes, some jet fighters, jet bombers. You can make detail whatever you want. Just making sure it's realistic for your nation. Pre-World War I era is you probably shouldn't have any like military ones because they weren't in use before then, like realistic, like in mass use. So what I do is I just use levitate. So if you click on a brick, you can press levitate. That's what I do. I'll just leave it just flying there, and I'll say it's like operating in that like entire area, like all around here. I'll just say it's operating like in this entire area. I'll just say it's operating here. This Air Force will like go like patrol around. It'll go do bombing runs. Boom, boom, boom. Drawing skills. It'll go do dogfights. Enemy planes. Things like that. That's just what it will do. It'll do like missions and stuff like that. Fairly simple. If you want to, you can even put down air bases, but it's completely optional. Next is nuclear weapons. So what you do with nuclear weapons is that you can RP them, you developing them. Like I spent about 20 years developing my IBCMs for Indonesia. Indonesia's developing nuclear power plants in real life, so it's not completely unlikely that it could happen. Probably the only thing that's probably preventing them happening is that there's a treaty in real life that's preventing any new nation from developing nuclear weapons. In fact, even South Africa was developing nuclear weapons, but they disbanded their program after this treaty happened. So yeah, it's probably the only thing preventing Indonesia at this point. So this is what I like to do. I like to label where my IBCMs are. So like I'll put like one IBCM there. So what you do is whenever you launch them, electric fire or something. In this server, you need XP permission, but you wouldn't always need that. I'm assuming you wouldn't, but I would suggest asking for permission first from an XP. So you would fire them. I would say they're probably like city destroyers. You can probably maybe destroy a single city with a nuclear weapon. Not much else than that. So you could like maybe like color both these black and then even name the city like ruins, like Le. Don't know how you pronounce that, but you would just say like ruins behind it. Fairly simple to do. Just make sure it's realistic for you to fire nuclear weapons. Like maybe like it wouldn't be realistic for you to fire them. I just randomly, so just be aware of that. And also don't color like this does not make sense. You fire one nuclear weapon and half of New Guinea is all black now. That makes absolutely no sense. No sense. The rest of the island would probably be affected by it, but it's not going to be like all blown up in ruins. That doesn't make sense at all. Next is Naval Forces. So this is how I like to do my navies. Like as you can see, I have you can see I have 3 carriers here, 9 cruisers, 2 cruiser AA, more anti-aircraft than normal cruisers. I have 22 destroyers. It's probably a bit too much. I have 5 torpedo boats, basically boats that fire torpedoes, very hard to sling, and submarines. This is the website I like to use. It's from World of Warships forums, but I feel like it works just fine for my purposes. So this is these are all abbreviations. I like using abbreviations and detailing my navies, because saying like 36 ships, that doesn't tell anyone anything. It could be 36 battleships, or it could be 36 carriers. No one knows what they mean. No one knows what that means. No one knows what 36 ships are. They have no idea. So that's what I like doing. And so that's what I suggest. That's what I recommend doing. I'll put this website in the description for you to use, or this like forum page. You also have tanks and artillery and other things like that are in play. So be aware of that. I shouldn't have to explain those if you know what you're doing in this game. I shouldn't have to explain what they do. Tanks are like breakthrough, artillery is artillery. You should know what all those means. I'm not gonna go into too much depth on those. Next, and maybe lastly, if I remember anything else, is probably space. So what I like to do, you have to RP yourself, developing space technology. But what I do, I put down a space HQ, and these are like that's like your coordination area. This is what coordinates all your operations like that. And then I have a launch site, which actually launches the rockets, stuff like that. So what you ask for an admin for permission or to make something like this. This is like a space map. You can use this to launch it like a space station and space radio. So that's what you do basically. That's all you really do here. You say that you launch stuff. You try to make it realistic, the time zone. Like don't go to Mars for maybe like 2025. Before that, it just doesn't make sense. So that's what you should probably do with space. So this is a map of Mars. So everyone's kind of scrambling for it, but this is breaking a ton of treaties that are made that you can't claim space like that. But who cares? I guess who cares? So that's really about it for modern era. That's pretty much a pretty good overview, I'd say, of the modern era. So basically, we'll be going to looking at other eras such as the colonial and ancient era. Whichever one pops up first when I'm going through the servers, whichever one pops up first, that's what we'll do. Be looking at next. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.